Well, good morning. Breakfast at the Broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. As we go through these special guests and we get into these holidays, and we've said how grateful we are, and looking into whether we're in the real estate business or another business. I wishing everyone a very, very happy holiday on behalf of Breakfast at the Broker and myself. But we do have a guest that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. And now, by way of Greenback, Tennessee, she's the CEO of Social Marketing Nut. She's a technology and marketing coach at Remax Elite. She's one of the most sought after R4 speakers. She's a master of the Bouge websites. She's a mother, a daughter, an animal lover, and I could definitely beat her in a race today. Stand up and make some noise for Heather. I love my holiday.
I love that intro. Thank you. Woo!
You are very welcome.
I need that for my bio. That was awesome.
I'm for hire. Just kidding.
That was awesome. I'm gonna have to record that clip. I love it. That's the best intro ever.
Well, thank you. I aim to please. Heather, it's amazing. We're looking into the as you had founded your company a while ago in Social Marketing Nut, and you really just it's so difficult to kind of navigate all the obstacles and all the social media, and we got new words every day, whether it's an algorithm, whether it's this. Tell us a little bit about how social media has kind of transformed maybe in the last 2-3 years.
Well, it seems to constantly be changing. I think the biggest thing is, social media, if you use it in an authentic way, it can be a game changer, a life changer. For me, I've been the same person forever. I've been in real estate since the 90s. Once social media came out, it allowed me to reach like an unbelievable amount of people. And really, I'm just the same, but then creating groups where you can give value and all of that. The connections that I've been able to make just using social, but in a way that's me, not, a third party just kind of posting content. That's not where, really it's going to change that first meeting from a handshake to a hug. And that's where, for me, the magic is with social media, but it's not with just, fluff being posted. It's really being true to you. And really, there's so many people that have really done so well with the stories, with the reels, with being face to face on the video part of it, where they are true to themselves. I'm not, because I manage, I guess, for like on a broker level. For me, I just use it personally. You like me, you don't. You like dogs, you don't. You like Jeeps, whatever. For me, it's just my personal outlet, I guess. But really, it's those connections. I think that's the important part about social. If you're going to do it right and expect to get, whether it be referrals or just making those real life connections. I think that's where it's at.
And it's building relationships, from, kind of one person at a time. And, you look at it and, originally when Facebook came out, and they gave you this 5,000, or they still have this 5,000 friend max, there's a reason for it. It's supposed to be, it's not supposed to, it's not like LinkedIn where you add everyone, right? Like you add everyone, you want to build relationships, you want to have thousands and thousands of, relationships. You really should be very intentional in the relationships that you create and that you friends that you add, because those friends that you add that are, it's almost like guilty by association. If you consistently add people in one realm, but that's not your target audience, you may be missing the point.
Well, and it's not only that, because I know I really cleaned. I realized not to just become friends with anybody. And that was probably what the 2016 elections. Really, it became a negative space for me. So I just didn't want that in my life. So I cleaned house. I do really feel bad. I get a lot of friend requests, but my profile is pretty public. I'm out there. You can follow me. You can still engage with me, but I don't want to be friends with just people I don't know. So if somebody may see me post in a group, it's really not until we go to maybe R4. And I think even your agent's like, our friend requested you like forever ago. And it's like, well, now I'll accept it because I like you and I know who you are as a person. But I found out the hard way how easy it is for that space to become super negative, and I just don't want that in my life. So I'm very picky on who I become friends with, for sure.
It's the funny thing. It is, whether it's funny or not, I'm not sure. But when you're looking at, I did the same thing in 2016. I had to change my Facebook feed, and it wasn't political. It was just all the negativity on both sides of the aisle, and
Absolutely. It's like, I don't care I mean,
right,
my gosh, I could care
it,
less.
it was.
But if you're negative all the time and I post a quote and you're making it political and you're
Right.
taking over my quote, like, how does that have anything to do with what's like, no, I don't need that in my life.
No, and when we kind of clean house, it was funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't even be on Facebook. I don't even go on Facebook." I'm like, my Facebook is like babies, puppies, and weddings. Like
I
my
do
news
know
feed,
in that time I was spent a lot of time on my dog's Instagram
yeah,
account.
I mean, the funny thing is if you know what you're doing, you could, because Facebook wants to show you what you want to see. So if you're liking or you're spending time on a particular post a little bit longer, they're going to know that algorithm is going to show you more things that you're spending more time looking at or clicking at or whatever, or clicking on. And so, what I did is I just changed my Facebook feed from negative to positive, and you certainly can do that.
Absolutely. And I think that's important. I have like a rule, no energy sucking vampires allowed. And I mean, I make
Who
sure
originally did that? What was that quote from? Because I know it was at R4 and it was in a class, and someone said
I
energy
think I
sucking
got
vampire.
that from Sales Power with Tom Ferry.
Oh, yeah,
And
maybe it
it
was
just
Tom Ferry.
completely stuck with me. And that's
My
like my number one rule
yeah.
because it changes you like I mean, it just changes everything. If you have nothing but negative around you, that's just, I don't know. I don't like what that does to me. So no energy sucking vampires allowed.
Sounds good. So let's talk about what's coming up, right? So you have all these social media platforms. People are like, oh my God, TikTok is for like 12-year-old girls and 15-year-old girls and running around and whatever. But, there are a lot of very successful TikTokers right now that are just killing it. And, talk a little bit about TikTok potentially. And I don't know if you're into Snapchat or any of that stuff, but, what are the platforms that we should be looking at potentially as real estate professionals or business professionals?
I mean, I think they're great spaces. For me, they're time suckers. I use Snapchat to find out where my kids are. Or maybe when I'm at R4, I'll use Snapchat so it's not going to my regular feed and it just disappears and I wake up in the morning and forget I even did it. TikTok, my husband loves it. He's on it all the time. I get sucked into it, whether it be on the Facebook or, over on TikTok, probably not as much because I lose like so many hours of my life. For me, I don't have the volume on my phone, so I think everyone looks really silly. But I also see people doing amazing things over there within real estate or just other businesses. I see brokers, Paul, I think it is, that does, as far as somebody joining the company or with the agents. I mean, I think those are some brilliant ideas, and I see the impact that has. I'm not there yet, personally.
Yeah.
And working remotely, it's super hard for me to do it on like an office level, but I totally believe you could do that.
It's interesting because TikTok. I mean, if you're going to scroll through, whether it's Reels or you're going to scroll through, TikToks, it is very time consuming. But what I would say is that it's not necessarily whether TikTok or Facebook Reels or Instagram. It's more of telling your story and being able to put it on a platform whatever platform you're most comfortable with. So, when you're looking at, ideas and things to do, and, and it's kind of like a copycat thing, where you're, imitating celebrities and stuff like that on TikTok. You don't have to imitate them. You can make your own and tell your story. So let's go into that. How do you tell your story? And, even more so, we're talking about reels, you know, is there what's the difference between a reel and a story?
Well, a reel is definitely that's where the time for me. I mean, stories I love. I get so much out of it as far as messages. I mean, I think agents should be doing a story a day
Right.
just because it is just something going on. I mean, like yesterday, my son turned 21 and I didn't know Hooters changed their birthday dance. I feel so
Uh,
bad
By the
for
way,
what
that was pretty funny. It was,
he's such a good sport though, but he probably will never, but he chose Hooters. So, I mean,
right.
it is what it is. You're 21, you got to do it. But to me, that was just funny. So it goes on my story. When I go out, I just try to do like a story a day, and it's just something that happened in my life. Most of the time, it's going to be, part of my adventures up here in, Tennessee, or my Jeep or my dogs. I very rarely do stories of myself. And I realize that, but I don't know, like I just sit in my she shed just working all day. So I feel I'm pretty boring,
I like your
but
she
I
shed,
still
by
think
the way.
agents should be doing that.
I,
Um,
yeah, your she shed's pretty cool, by
I
the
love my she shed.
way.
I love it. The best thing
So,
I ever did.
so if you were to give some tips on social media, to, agents that don't want to spend a ton of time, or business professionals that don't want to spend a ton of time, but they want to have the most effectiveness, what would you give? What tip or advice would you give them?
I mean, I think a lot of agents overthink it too much. Is what do I post? Oh my gosh. I mean, but really, I mean, if it's scheduled content, schedule it. Just it's all about time management. So spend 1 hour and just schedule the pre stuff that you do. But I think really that they overthink it. I think if you really are authentic and, comment and make those relationships and post yourself, the area, I mean, you're never just selling a house, you're selling a way of life. You love your area. There, I mean, especially like you have the beaches and stuff like that. Me, I have the mountains or whatever. So, I mean, even if you take like a couple second video of what the beach looks like or the dolphins playing, or just, I think, in your family or your dogs or whatever it is that you do, it's going to get a lot of engagement, and then people will see more of your posts, and you're really don't leave people hanging. And if you are looking to do the reels and TikTok, I mean, my suggestion is always going to Katie Lance. Her blog,
Mhm.
like even on her Instagram, she's always giving amazing tips. And now my new obsession is on stories. Now we can add our website link. So add that so that people can get to your website from a story. You no longer have to have those 10,000 followers and stuff to be able to do that when you're posting, on your story. So, I mean, there's so many. I just say don't overthink it and just be true to who you are and authentic. And maybe social isn't for you if you're an energy sucking vampire, but I mean, it's just one pillar to that business. I mean, honestly.
So like my dad says, blank them if they can't take a joke. So, listen, they're either gonna, and that's the thing, right? It's they're either gonna like you or not like you, right? And guess what? I mean, imagine a business where you only work with people that like you and acknowledge you and appreciate you. My guess is that's not always the case right now. But if you put that persona out there and you put your original and authentic self, not what someone else it perceives you or wants you to be, then you've gone ahead and done some great things.
Right. And I mean, and if it's on your business page, I would say to go into your stats, see, and you can see every post that you've done and see which ones are creating that engagement. And I guarantee you it's going to be the authentic you, not the fluff stuff that's actually creating that engagement, which ultimately is that relationship part. And I mean, And I still think the magic is on your personal account, just because
I do
Facebook
too.
really wants you to pay to play. On Instagram, the use of hashtags and following certain hashtags, so that those, anybody posting using those hashtags shows up in your feed. Those are huge. I think big tricks for like an Instagram feed, and
So yeah,
and your post to get huge eyeballs.
absolutely. You know, I'm a competitive person, so what I try and do is actually come up with a post or story that's got either more engagement, more likes than my happy birthday posts. You know, so where people just sing your happy birthday and you get 400 or 500 people saying happy birthday. So I'm trying to find a post that's going to go ahead and create that kind of engagement, because every year you get probably significantly more likes and or comments on your birthday rather than on your
I know my
regular one.
best post on a business page was there was it was a beautiful sunset night. I had seen a couple people posting. I think my kids were little. I was probably bathing them or, doing homework or something. So I just post the question like, go outside, take a picture of the sunset. It's absolutely gorgeous. Comment below with a photo. And unbelievable the amount of people that commented. And it was like once a couple started, then they just started flooding in, and then I would showcase them adding, tagging who shared it in the photo. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this page, like they shared my photo and I was just, it's on my phone and it's not professional. And it was showing the love back to them. And, they loved it. But I mean, I couldn't take the picture and I kind of lived where you couldn't really see a sunset, but other people could. And they just flooded the page, and that just creates engagement, which Facebook loves. So now they're going to show that feed to more people because of it, it's being relevant. So it was just crazy. It was like a domino effect. And
You
it
know,
was
and
simple. It was stupid simple.
it really is kind of crazy, because when you're looking at all these different things, and it could be so overwhelming, right? Um, I started doing, a friend of mine, Michael, told me to do this. I started going to restaurants and taking pictures of the food and whatever, and uploading it to Google, their Google page, and rating them, reviewing them, and adding photos. And what that does is it creates significantly more engagement in the Google community, which raises your rankings. So people don't really always see it, but I looked at the other day. I think I got like 10, 20,000 views on a picture. You know, so you
It's
just don't
almost scary
realize.
when you actually go into your account to see, the different reviews and photos that you've done for other businesses. But I think that's also important because it's like people only complain, right? Like people aren't always giving praises. So for me, that's my way of thinking. A business that does have great service, especially in these times right now where, you see all the signs like, sorry, if it's a longer wait, we don't have as much help. So I really want to show the love for the other businesses, taking photos, tagging them, um, because I hate that it's always the negative. That's when we think of giving a review, is when the bad stuff happens. So definitely, I mean, you want everybody to review you once you've had a transaction. So do that for a business. And I don't like to do negative ones. I just
Yeah,
won't go back, which is probably worse for them because they can't
right.
correct it. I just don't go back.
So it's funny because as a real estate professional, or even just a local business professional, you want to be that local guide. You want to be the resource that people go to for your particular area. And what better way to do that than to review other businesses, to show what businesses are above the crowd, right? They're doing exceptional things, whether it's service, food, location, lifestyle, whatever it may be. So I think it's great. And the funny thing is the only time I ever use Twitter, because it seems to be very, very effective, is when I do have a complaint, when I need something done, when I
Yeah.
need, like literally, we changed. It wasn't just me. I'm not trying to pat just me on the back, but we changed Delta's food allergy peanut allergy policy many years ago, based on a Twitter post. And it got a lot of engagement. And, I DM'd him and I got a call from like the vice president of Delta, so like, you don't think that people are watching. Everyone's watching. Everyone's watching what you're doing, how you're doing it. And if you don't think clients are looking up and seeing what you're posting, whether you're, they're gonna want to see. If you're in the luxury market, um, you know, there are certain people that are going to be gravitated to, you living in those luxury circles. So especially in Boca. Um, so you just have to be careful what image you're putting off, right? Be your authentic
I
self.
like stick to the 3 Ps. I try to be passionate, be personal, and be professional.
Love it. Yep, love it. So I always end the call. Well, you know what? Before I end the call, we got to go into Bouge because when we originally came out with Bouge, that we had really high expectations and all these different things, and and we kind of fell short of it, and we did fall short of it because I think our expectations were really high for the magnitude of what they were actually doing. But that's certainly has changed because I've seen a lot of agents leveraging their boost sites, being able to use the drip emails, rightly and correctly. And tell us a little bit about how Boost has changed, certainly in the last 3 to 4 months.
Well, I know in like the last year, there's been a ton of updates. I can tell from sites I did when we first got them to now creating a whole new pages, being able to have the custom searches. And, just like what you were saying with Google is becoming that local expert. I love that we can add the hyper local content pages that, when I moved to Tennessee, I couldn't find any information. Like I had no idea there was like no city garbage because that was the last thing I did. And I had to go find, well, I'm not driving to the dump. Are you kidding me? Um, just the little things. So when someone moves to the area, I like having like a hub of information on a website, has all the links for people that may live here and like, oh, I know I can go to your, so-and-so's website after the sale because it has that hub of information. It's good for SEO. And it, for me, it's, as an agent, you kind of get asked the same questions all the time. So why not just add that information to your website? Now it's there for anyone to see, but you can also use that as content for social media, which then helps, get the full information go here. So you could create a page for Boca. You could have different price ranges, new construction, featured listings, hot new listings, and then create graphics. Like what can you get for under X amount of dollars in Boca? And click here and you have that feed already, inside of your site that's getting fed through IDX, constantly updated. So you could use these different graphics and help drive traffic back to the website. And I think one of the things I love most is being able to save agents a ton of money that may be spending like $200 to $500 a month on a website. They're not getting any leads. Whereas, let's go over to Booge. That's not going to cost you any extra. Now save that extra money. Maybe put a fraction of that towards maybe some pay-per-click, maybe some Facebook ads. And then now you have this extra budget. Go, what else can you add to your business? Because now you're not paying for that on your website. And I know some brokers were paying like $1,000 a month for a fancy website. And they may have got like 5 leads a year. And they moved to Booge and organically they're getting 15 to 30 leads a month and they're not paying for it. And I mean, it's, I don't know. It's the fact that it can save money. Is it the perfect fit for everyone? No, just like a CRM is not. There is no one size fits all when it comes to any website or CRM. You just have to decide what do you need in a website and is Booge going to be the right fit for me? I mean, that's
Yeah,
really,
I think you said it best. I mean, listen, if you're using a website, regardless of what you're spending, and you are happy with it and you're getting the results that you want, stick with it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have some kind of boost site that certainly gives us some sort of resume and whatnot. But and you could link it back to the site that you're paying for. But Booge has made some great strides. I think that it is now an effective website strategy that you can use and benefit from. And listen, you're trying to do, incorporate, 600 MLSs around the country, and to create this from ground up is certainly not easy. But I think we're there, and we're continuing to update it. So I've been very
and I think
happy.
it's great that we're developing the future of what's going on. So the updates, I mean, there's some great stuff coming down the pipeline. I can tell you that.
Yep.
So hopefully in a couple months, it'll be nice when an office can actually create, kind of pages and then share that template with their agents. So now the agents can just, with one click of a button, add it to their website, and maybe, then they can adjust it because it'll be like a template. So there's a lot of great stuff and I love, because it's, ours, and we have our ideas portal that we put our ideas, we all vote them up. That's what they're really looking at when it comes to those enhancements. What is the mass looking for? And that's what we're going to focus on. So I think, the engineer part, like, they may think something should be like this, but the agents and brokers are like, no, we need this, this, and this. And it's like, oh, didn't even think about that. And that's how things are changing and evolving, which I think is excellent, because it's like we have a voice in what's being said, and they use the power users as beta. So when anything is coming down the line, we get to be the ones that test it and like, no. So I was on a call last week with them with a lot of cool stuff. It's like, no, we need you to be able to survey versus, maybe how they thought it should be done. Just so I love the fact that they are using the product a lot to get feedback on how things should look, feel, and be tweaked.
Agreed. Yeah. The only feature I wish they still had was the on the app with the live
The
feed.
VR thing, that was so awesome. And I guess nobody used it.
No, a lot of people, I guess, didn't use it.
It probably was buggy, but it
and
was.
it was crash.
Oh,
It was crashing the app, I guess, is
yeah.
what I was told. So, but
Yeah, I agree. But it was pretty darn cool.
It was very cool. So, well, I always end the Breakfast with the Broker with two questions. What is your favorite all-time streaming series, and what are you currently watching?
Well, I love the Yellowstone. I've been doing that. My husband got me hooked. Walking Dead has probably been my all-time favorite. Now I'm like crushed. I don't know what to do. Family Vacations, going to watch them film, which is crazy, and General Hospital. Currently, I'm watching Kindred Spirits because I love the paranormal stuff. Not the scary stuff, but mediumship stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. I don't think we've had a paranormal whatever.
I like the media, all that, like the Dead Files. Not the scary stuff, but like the mediums where they talk to people that I don't know. I find that fascinating.
That's awesome. Heather, I can't thank you enough for coming on Breakfast with the Broker. We certainly miss you, and one of these days, hopefully pretty soon, if your surgery goes well on your ACL, maybe we'll wheel you around at R4. So
I'm gonna get one of those scooters, and I think other people will get them. We're just gonna race around Vegas.
I'm in. It's a long walk to the convention center.
Yes, I was like, whoa, scooter, and I found out it's super easy to get a scooter. So that's my goal, is to, it'll only be 2 months in, so I have no idea what to expect. I've never broken anything or, nothing. So I have no idea what to expect.
Well, I wish you a very, fast recovery, speedy recovery, and health, safety, and all that kind of stuff. So we appreciate you, Heather. Breakfast with the Broker every Tuesday morning at 9:00. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.